Hey everyone, we're going to pick up where our last video left off, which was with breakouts. So this video will dive deeper into breakouts and show you how we can use breakouts to further engage students, to get them to work together in groups to produce some kind of a product. Also, how we can go from breakouts back to the class session and have groups share out their learning with the rest of the class. It's a really powerful way to use Connect and to maximize engagement in your classroom, and also get your students to share what they know or what they've learned from that particular class session or from that project or that topic. Before we go into breakouts though and dive deeper into that, I do want to show you or just review a few of the buttons that we've been working with these past few videos, as well as um, discuss something new that I want to share with you in this video. So first of all, at the top here, again, we have our volume button. We have our my microphone, which is turned off because there's no one listening to this. This is all just a demo video, so there's no one. Although I have 3 students, Drew, John, and Mark too. They're just fake students. So I'm going to leave my audio to them off because no one's listening. Also, you have your webcam, of course, which is live because you see me here on the screen. So that is turned on. Remember, green is on, white is off. Let's look at these students right here. Oh, and also one more important thing. We ended our last class or last video with breakouts. And that was actually the end of the day. I went home that night. This is the next morning. I've relaunched this class session. I've refreshed my browser, and although it's a new day, I'm still in breakouts. So just know that your Connect classroom will end. We'll start the way that it ended. So we ended with breakouts when I launched this new window, this new Connect classroom, where we are still in breakouts. So I need to end breakouts from the last class session and go back here to my my whole class view. So quickly, let's look at John right here. So John is a student right now in my class, and John's symbol looks different. That's because John is accessing this Connect session from his mobile device. It's actually my phone. It's sitting right here. So I'm going to show you, try to hold it to the screen so you can see it. This is my cell phone. There we go. And you can see here that right there is my face in the top corner. My live video, this right here, this is the class list of students. This is the chat box, and you see that this big gray area here is the share my screen portion. So if I was sharing like a PowerPoint or Prezi, John would see it right here in this gray box. Now that's fine. John or anybody can access this class from a cell phone. They have to download the Connect app. It's free, and they can access the class from a phone. They can access a class from an iPad or other tablet, which is nice. That's fine if all you're doing is just lecture and sharing PowerPoints, that kind of thing. But if you want your students to produce something, to get into a breakout session or room and then come back from that session with some type of a product, they've typed up a Word document, they've done a PowerPoint, it's a little hard to do that on a tablet or on a phone. So I would encourage you to tell your students to access Connect. Yes, they can access from a phone or from a tablet, and that's fine to do that. But they just need to know that if you're planning on doing some group engagement and group lessons, they need to access this from a desktop or a laptop. Otherwise, they might run into some troubles with their phone. Something else that's kind of neat about the phone or tablet is that you'll notice that right now John is in the classroom. He's listening to me. He's engaged. If John should happen to take a phone call or start texting someone or play a round of Angry Birds, as soon as John leaves this app, his status on the screen here will go to busy. Remember, students can set their status to busy, so if they need to step away and go to the restroom, they can do that. But as soon as he leaves this app, it's going to do that. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to pull up. Let's pull up. Let's see here. How about my camera? So John's messing around on the camera and he's taking pictures of his family or whatever, posting to Instagram. Well, as soon as I changed the app to the camera, notice that John's symbol went to busy. So you can tell if John's out there fooling around on some game as opposed to being part of the class. So you'll know that. And as soon as I switch my app back to Connect, I will go back to the classroom and notice that now, oops, it's trying to actually connect. So I have a little bit of a problem with my connection. So there we go. So now I'm back in the classroom, and John's back here with the class, and his symbol now is not busy. It's back to live status. So just a little trick there. If you see somebody on a mobile device, if they are out there messing around on the internet or a game, you'll know that with this symbol here on their name. Okay, let's dive into breakouts. So remember, at the top of your screen here, or this box, you've got your class view, which is where we are now. This is just lecture. This is asking questions, getting feedback from your students, and sharing your screen, and those sort of things. The breakout view is where you can get into group interaction. Now, just by clicking breakout view does not mean that you're in breakouts. That's just the view on the screen to put them in rooms. So now that we're in breakout view, by clicking this button right here, now I need to put Drew, John, and Mark into some rooms. Now I'm going to take this here and maximize this box here a little bit, make it easier on me, and this will probably be helpful for you as well, because if you've got 15 students in your classroom, that little small window, it's hard to navigate. Now just know that when I maximize this box here, over here on the left side of my desk here, I've got my other monitor running that shows John's view. John's one of our students. And when I stretched out this box, all of a sudden John's screen, also his box is stretched out. So how you see my face is kind of cut off right here, it's also cut off on all of my students' views as well. So I'm only doing this just to help me navigate breakouts, to move these students into rooms. And as soon as I'm done, I'm going to drag this back down to where it was, so that everyone can see my face clearly. Okay, so let's move Drew into breakout room. Well, he's already in one. Let's go put him in two. I'm going to move John down here to two, and I'm going to move Mark into two. Okay, so now they're all three in breakout room 2. Let's minimize this window so it looks better. Okay, now as soon as I hit start breakouts right here, now you notice that my screen didn't change a whole lot, but their screen did. So their screen now looks similar to what you see on this video right here, but they can only see and hear each other. So Drew and John and Mark can only see and hear Drew and John and Mark. They can't hear the rest of the class. So if you gave them a topic, discuss why it's important to identify subgroups in your building for TCAP scores and student achievement, that sort of thing. Now go to your room and discuss this, and then we're going to share out. Well, Drew and John and Mark are only sharing with each other on that topic. Now, as the host of the class, I can take myself and plug myself into these rooms to check in on them. So right now I'm in the main classroom. So I can take myself and drag down into their room. And now all of a sudden I'm in the room with Drew and John and Mark. And I can hear what they're saying, I can see what they're doing, and they can also hear and see me. So if I want to pop in, just kind of listen in on their discussion, or maybe one of them raised their hand and they have a question, I can pop into their room and answer their question. I can also pop in and say, hey guys, you got 5 minutes left, then we're going to go back into our main class and share out. I can do anything that I want to when I pop into the room. Then I can take myself and I can pop into a different breakout room, or room 2, what have you. I can go into any room that I want to and talk to those students in that private group session. It's a great way to just check on the groups, to answer questions, to be part of that group engagement, and also give them like a time warning. 5 minutes left, 2 minutes left. Now when breakouts are over and it's time to come back to the whole class and share out, you just hit end breakouts. And when you do that and click your main view, now we're back in the whole group session. Now here's the real power in this. Now we're back in the group, and I can ask my groups, let's talk about TCAP scores. What did you all decide about why it's important to look at the different groups in your building and make plans for achievement and for growing student scores in your building? Everybody share out. And I can either turn on all of their cameras if I wanted to. I could pick a leader from each group and have that leader share out to the class one at a time. They could raise their hands and I could call on them one at a time. Or I could have asked them to create a PowerPoint to present that to the class. So their task could have been, at the end of your 15 minutes in your group session, you need to have developed a PowerPoint to teach the class on your theory and your topic on why you think that we need to focus on groups in the building. Okay, so now we're back in the main class. Now Drew, for instance, let's say that Drew is the group leader. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Drew into presenter. Okay, now once Drew is a presenter, he can then share his screen like I've been doing. He can share his screen. And as soon as he shares his screen, everybody's screen in the classroom can see what Drew is doing. So Drew can pull up his PowerPoint on his screen and lead us through this PowerPoint presentation and share with us what his group discussed and what they did. I can also put all three of them in this role. So if I put John up there, I put Mark up here, now all three of them are presenters, and Drew could be the one sharing the PowerPoint from his screen, and John and Mark can then support Drew by sharing comments as they are presenting. Okay, so a lot of power there in getting students to share out in the classroom, in your online classroom, and to share their creations, what they've created for the room. I mean, think about how this could be used. I mean, if you give your students a task of researching a topic between now and the next class session, then we're going to do group presentations. You can do that right here with this method. Putting them in this role so they can present to the rest of the class. Or telling them in the next 20 minutes in your breakout room, I want you to create a picto chart or some type of infographic to demonstrate what you've learned from class tonight. And then we're going to share that graphic on the screen. So I put Drew or this group in this role right here, and they can share their screen and share that graphic with the rest of the class. So a lot of powers. All those things that you do in a face-to-face class session with group presentations and group discussion and interaction, you can do on Connect through breakout sessions. It's really a very powerful tool to use while you're teaching in an online format. Now, one important thing I want to note to you before we end this video on breakouts, and that is be sure that you don't put a student in the host role by mistake. Okay, so if you want Drew to be able to share his screen with the rest of the class and share a PowerPoint that he has created, or share an infographic that his group created during this breakout session, put him in the role as presenter, okay? Because he can share his screen in that role. He can also share his screen as a host. The difference is, though, if he's a host and he accidentally clicks this red X on his browser, the entire class goes away. Okay, very important, because the host, as soon as the host closes his or her window, the class ends. Everybody's screen goes black. Okay, so very important to know that you don't put a student in this role as host, because they can end the class by accident if they accidentally click this red X, or they quit their browser, or if their computer malfunctions and turns off all of a sudden, or restarts, then everybody's class is over. Now, they can't do that if they are presenters. Okay, so just know that difference. They can present and share their screen if they are a presenter. They can also do that as a host. But just know that as a host, they have the power to end the class. As a presenter, they do not have that power. If they close their browser as a presenter, then just their browser goes away. Everyone else stays connected. Everyone else stays live. Okay. So hopefully you've learned some things about breakouts in your thinking about ways to use breakouts in your class sessions. Hopefully this has been helpful.